Welcome to Veterans Voice, where we highlight programs and services that support our veterans. I'm James Mabel. Houston Community College partners with employers that seek to give back to the veteran community by providing opportunities for career growth in the civilian sector. We're joined today by Arvind Thakore, CEO of SuchiERP. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, James. Appreciate you and the whole team. And Stacy, thank you very much for all your hard work. And it's my privilege to be on this show.
Thank you, Mr. Thakore. First, can you give us an overview of your company?
Okay, we are I have two companies, Suchita Consulting and SuchiERP. Here I'm going to talk about SuchiERP. SuchiERP is a cloud-based ERP solution, enterprise resource planning solution software, where you can operate any business, small business, any mom pop, from 1 employee to 1,000 employees. It is good for logistics, it is good for distribution, it is good for manufacturing, any business. You can do this thing. And SuchiERP is also, we are in the process of developing two other software, the solutions. SuchiBIM, which is, it's a building information modeling, and also SuchiIAM. It'll be end of this year, we'll have ready for you.
And why do you believe it's important to provide opportunities to veterans specifically?
The veterans are, in this country, I'm sorry to say, I'm an immigrant. I'm telling you, veterans are most ignored by the establishment, because most ignored in this country. And they go for, they protect our freedom of speech. And this group has given us freedom of speech and also freedom to live, and is offered the lowest help by any standards. Immigrant like me will come, I'll have benefits more than veterans. And there are people who are coming from other countries, or let's say asylum or border crossing. They get more than our veterans. And veterans are the one who protected our nation. They went above and beyond call of duty. And that's where I feel we should do more for them. That's my personal, and I'm a very strong supporter of that.
And speaking of that, what kind of jobs do you typically fill at your company with veterans?
Okay. We are working on to start train them, and also we can show them, there are certain businesses set aside for veterans in federal bidding, state bidding. And if these people don't know, we'll happy to train them, because once they train themselves, there is they don't need to worry about financing. People worry about, oh, what will happen? I don't have money. You don't need money to do business in this country. If you're a veteran, you can do it. We'll train them. And the primary vendor will pay your money. They will support you because they need, for their contract, they need your help. So veterans should, take advantage of this. And coming to ours, said, I'm happy to train them with the state. Texas state workforce has a lot of classes. They can use our facility. They can do whatever they want. We can help them in getting certified. That's what, and how to fill the RFQs will help them. Job-wise, since we are new, I'm just a 2-year-old company. We moved from California to here in COVID times, because Texas is a business-friendly country, state, rather. So another thing was, there was no income tax here. So I'm here. So we will train them, and to start their own business, we'll help them.
And to dive a little deeper, you mentioned obviously that your company will provide training. Can you tell us what specific skills would you train veterans on, or what type of skills are needed to be successful with your company?
With my company, we will train them with coding, networking, artificial intelligence, machine learning languages. We'll train them in cloud. These courses are freely available with Texas Football, but we will spend time. We will do it. We will do it. And if I don't have the course available, I will pay for them to go. I'll arrange for training. So, so they can learn middleware software like MuleSoft, or they can learn cloud computing, or they can, in AWS, Azure, Microsoft Azure, DevOps, you name it. There are so many technologies. We'll be very happy to. And if they do good, I assure you, I will be the first person to hire them, because that's what I need, is a good, dependable person who wants to learn.
And also, why do you think veterans make good employees? And I appreciate your interest in recruiting and hiring veterans. Why do you think they would make good employees?
Because, they are hardworking, honest, and above all, there are several other things I can say, trustworthy. Above all, they are team players. In software development, it is the team playership, team spirit has to be there. It is a core requirement for, otherwise it's very hard. We can't have a war room, one yelling at, but veterans have that team spirit because they are trained that way. They went through the professional training, they lived that training. So they make the best. I'm talking, if I have to hire anybody, it'll be a veteran. Because if I am doing something, I can ask them to share with me, or if they need, I'm there. And that spirit comes only from team player. And that's one thing veterans have in plenty.
And I completely agree with your assessment of veterans. You mentioned earlier about what veterans do, serving in the military, the experience they're gaining, and how that could be very valuable to a company. And I appreciate your interest in your company making it a point to hire veterans. Mr. Thakore, thank you for being on the show.
Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity. It means a lot to me. And may I continue one more sentence? If a veterans need any time, they can call me at 832-955-1312 anytime, irrespective of time. And they can write to info@SuchiERP. We'll be very happy to, help them, assist them, and make a successful life for them. Thank you very much, Ms. James.
Thank you,
James, and Mrs. Stacy.
Thank you. After the break, we learn how the VA takes a whole person approach to health.
What does moving forward look like? Houston Community College has hundreds of choices, small class sizes, and personalized support to help you do just that. Enroll today for spring classes and frame your future with HCC.
For more than a year, we have kept you informed with more than 500 remote episodes. But now we're back, bigger and better, with more news and more guests. Join us live every weekday at 10 a.m. on Facebook and YouTube, and on HCC TV at noon and 5 p.m. You can watch from anywhere. We go where you go.
It takes less than 1 minute to find out if you may have prediabetes. You can do it here. But I get it, you're busy, and busy people can't have prediabetes. I read that wrong. They can, okay? Just go to the site.
Welcome back to Veterans Voice. We tend to think of healthcare at VA facilities in response to an acute issue. But a new initiative aims to change that. And Dr. Shannon Sisco, Whole Health Clinical Director, joins us with all of the details. Welcome.
Hello, thanks so much for having me here today.
So what is whole health and how is it different from the way medicine has usually worked?
So whole health is a pretty ambitious initiative. We are really seeking to transform the way that we do healthcare, which is something we know needs fixing, not just in VA, but in our whole healthcare system. You know, I think our healthcare system over the past 50, 100 years or so has really been predicated on this kind of narrow focus on identifying diseases and making diagnoses and giving treatments and kind of limiting our focus just to that. And I think we all kind of feel how that plays out as a patient, right? Whether we're a veteran or we're in the private system in healthcare, it's easy to just kind of feel like a list of boxes that need to be checked. And we know that health today is about so much more than that, right? There are so many complex things that affect our health. You know, who we are, what we value, what we do from day to day, the situation that we live in, and what we're surrounded by. And so whole health is really kind of a multi-pronged approach to try to take that bigger, more expansive view of us as human beings and bring that into our healthcare. So taking into account a bigger view of what makes us who we are, of what impacts our health from day to day, and a bigger view of what is really available to us in caring for our health. You know, it's not just about medications or expensive interventions. The biggest recipe in our health is about what we do from day to day in the ways that we take care of ourselves. And that's what whole health is really all about.
Well, and thank you for sharing that overview. And so how does whole health accomplish all of what it does in the community? How does it go about accomplishing this?
So it's a big task. We have kind of 3 different areas that we're working on to try and affect this change. First, we have what's called the pathway. And the goal of that is really that veterans have an opportunity right as soon as they get into the VA, hopefully, or if they've been in VA for a while, as soon as they have contact with whole health, one of their first contacts is going to be with another veteran who has an understanding about what whole health looks like, how it can apply in your own life. This might be through a one-time workshop called Introduction to Whole Health. This might be through a longer 8-week class called Taking Charge of My Life and Health. But the focus there is really on having a chance to connect with another veteran and see how this can make a difference in your own life. The pathway is first. The second kind of area that we are seeking to support veterans in is what is called the well-being program. So, you know, usually when we think of healthcare, we think of treatment. You know, we identify a medical or a mental health condition and we are treating that. But we want to really think about health and well-being as something that really goes beyond the absence of problems or disease. Real health is about living the fullest, healthiest life that you can based on what matters to you. And so our well-being classes offer kind of resources for folks to go further in caring for themselves. You know, you might be doing that to work on a problem, or you might be just engaging in it to grow further. These resources can include things like mindfulness meditation workshops, yoga and Tai Chi. For LGBTQ veterans, we have groups where you can connect with other veterans, identifying the same way and have an opportunity to grow together. Those are just a few kind of examples of the well-being program. And then finally, the third pillar, which you might not see as much as a veteran, but we're working really hard for on the back end, is that we are also working to support and train every staff person, every healthcare team at VA to bring a whole health approach to their work. And so as a veteran, you might start hearing questions when you come in for your visit, like, what matters to you? Which is not something we're used to hearing in a doctor's visit, right? But when you think about how much that question affects our health and well-being. We don't do anything different in our lives to take care of our health and well-being if it doesn't flow out of what is most important to us, out of the things that we want to be healthy for. And so we're trying to really support healthcare teams in understanding the person in front of them and seeing the whole person and engaging in healthcare that sees what's really important to the veteran.
And speaking of just helping veterans, what kinds of services and workshops are included in the Houston area?
So a few I realized I just mentioned there, the yoga, Tai Chi, mindfulness. One of the other ones I would really want to highlight is our health and wellness coaching service. So we are a relatively young and new program right now, but we are building up this service. Almost all of the coaches that we have on this team, they are veterans themselves. And a health and wellness coach is kind of exactly what it sounds like. You can work with a coach on a problem or a health or mental health condition that you want to see get better, but you can also meet with a coach just to level up in your life, to take those next steps to grow, whatever that means to you. The goal of a coach is not to provide therapy, they don't provide treatment, but they are your partner and your advocate and your liaison in connecting with resources to help you get to wherever you want to go in your goals for your health and well-being.
And how does complementary and integrative health, how do they come into play?
Yeah, so complementary and integrative health is that kind of piece that I mentioned about how whole health also wants to take a really expanded or holistic view of the things that support our health. So we always kind of look in our healthcare system at traditional medicine, and traditional medicine is very important, right? There's not any piece that we're trying to replace here, but there's also this understanding that there are a lot of complementary approaches that can kind of integrate or come alongside the traditional medical care that we do to help us be even healthier. So on the treatment side of things, that can be things like acupuncture, massage therapy, chiropractic care. And I'll emphasize that those are pieces of complementary and integrative health that are offered in clinical areas in our VA. So a whole health referral wouldn't take you directly to those services, but we can help you locate and connect with those services. And then you'll want your healthcare provider, because it is treatment, to enter a consult to connect you with those services. And then other complementary and integrative approaches are kind of well-being based. So yoga and Tai Chi, mindfulness, biofeedback, guided imagery, hypnosis. Those are all things that can be used to support a condition or a diagnosis they don't have. You can do them just to be well in your life.
Well, and you've provided a lot of information about the resources and services in the community and online for veterans. Thank you so much for sharing about whole health.
Thanks so much. It's a pleasure talking with you.
After the break, we'll learn how HCC veteran students can take the next step in their career.
To eat apples and bananas. I need to eat apples and bananas. Why can't I eat apples and bananas?
Support the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks to help provide meals to those in need. Join us at feedingamerica.org.
911, where is your emergency?
Welcome back to the Veterans Voice. On June 7th, the Department of Veteran Affairs, Veteran Readiness and Employment will be holding a Houston career fair. We're joined by Dawson, employment coordinator with the VA, and Chandra Arceneaux Harrison, our VA VetSuccess on-campus coordinator. I want to welcome you both to the show.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Excellent. So, Darwin, tell us about the event that's coming up here very soon.
The event is an inaugural national virtual job fair. It's hosted by the National VeteransVoice office, but Houston is one of the in-person locations that we're having. And we're doing it in partnership with the Houston Community College, in addition to some of the local leaders and other nonprofit organizations as well. So the event is designed to assist veterans, service members, dependents, and spouses who are trying to obtain suitable gainful employment.
Excellent. And you mentioned the event is virtual in some places and face-to-face in others, like in Houston?
Yes. There are 4 in-person locations, which is Houston, Washington, D.C., Atlanta, and then Phoenix. And the rest of it, everyone, they would have the opportunity to participate through a virtual platform, which would be sent out to through all various marketing avenues, through service providers and other VA programs such as ourselves, will communicating that information to our veterans.
Excellent. And Chandra, how is HCC working with the VA to help students connect to the event?
So HCC is pressing everybody in the VMAS department, certifying officials, work study, and just all employees in VMAS to inform them about this wonderful event that's coming up, because they come in all the time. They ask us about jobs, employment, and stuff like that. So we're letting them know you need not miss this opportunity. And then at some point, we're going to send out a blast through email, text, and like that to let them know that this is going on.
Excellent. I'm going to come back to Darwin. Let's turn to you for a minute and learn about some of the programs available through the Department of Veteran Affairs, and starting with the VRE services.
Okay, great. VRE is titled Veteran Readiness and Employment. That's the new name. The old name, which a lot of veterans are probably familiar with, is called Vocational Rehabilitation and Employment. Okay, the name was changed in order to put more focus on the employment piece, because mainly when people hear about us, they automatically think that Chapter 31 is a school program. Well, it's an actual school, is an employment program that helps veterans to obtain the services that's needed for them to obtain suitable gainful employment. Okay, so one thing in particular, like the entitlement for services, you have to have a service-connected disability. Once you've been deemed service-connected, I encourage all veterans to apply. Once they apply, they'll meet with a counselor. The counselor will go over with them to see how does their disability affect their ability to obtain employment. And that is called an employment handicap. Once an employment handicap has been identified, that entitles the veteran to the program. Okay, everything is based on an individual basis, which is your rating and additional information that may be applicable that's related to your disabling conditions. Okay, once you've been entitled to the program, then the counselor will develop a plan of services, which will identify what are the services that we're going to provide to help you to return to employment. And some of those services may be sending the veteran to school, getting various certifications. They just may need resume help, job seeking skills, so forth and so on. And if it's deemed that your condition is too severe to where you can't return to employment, then we identify independent living services, which are services where we'll go in and do an assessment to identify where you're weak at with your daily needs. And then once the evaluator gives us the report, then we would refer you to the various agencies or purchase the equipment that's needed in order for you to actively and gainfully participate with independent living services throughout your home.
Thank you for sharing, Darwin. And Chandra, let's learn a little bit more about how HCC students can make the most of their benefits, and starting with Chapter 36, Personalized Career Planning and Guidance Benefits.
So Oh, sorry. So personalized career planning and guidance benefits, and we shorten it sometimes PCPG because there's so many words. I'm there to assist with that to service transition and service members, veterans, or any VA educational recipient. I can assist them with that. And we talk about education and career support and things like that. So most of the benefits that come along with that most people are familiar with are post 9/11, Montgomery GI Bill, Hazelwood, Chapter 35 dependents benefits. So all of those benefits at some point are you can maximize them, and use one of them at one time and probably use another one, pick it up at another time, but it's personalized because a veteran doesn't know that. So I sit down with them and I go through their information and discuss what their goals are, their careers are, and things like that. And then I say, well, hey, this benefit that you're using, you might be able to pick up this benefit over there, or this is going to end here and you might need something else with that. So I'm there to help them go through that maze of services that's available to them.
Excellent. And can you explain the services and resources that the VMAS department itself provides?
So VMAS provides a plethora of services because there are veterans in there as well. So that one-on-one life experience that a veteran is going through, many of them have gone through themselves, so they can actually walk them through it. And then they're also there to help certify them for classes. They're there to help them understand what classes is needed to benefit each program. There are certain classes that you can only take for Chapter 31, which is VRNE, or certain classes that's only there for post 9/11, and how the benefits work of receiving payment or getting supplies, books and fees, and things like that. So VMAS is also there to help you find out community resources, things around HCC that are there, other departments, the Student Government Association, and things like that. So we welcome everybody to just come in and just ask questions, because that's what we are there for.
Excellent. And it seems that the VA and VMAS are partnering to do an informational session here in 2023.
Yes, so we've done 2 or 3 so far, but it's wonderful that we have the VA department representatives come over and they sit down with the veterans one-on-one, and they go over their eligibility for compensation, and they talk to them about their disabilities and let them know how to get ratings and become service connected, because many veterans aren't aware of that. So we try to offer those at least twice a semester so that they can sit down one-on-one and get those services started.
Excellent. Well, Darwin and Chandra, thank you all very much for sharing information about the VA and about VMAS, and I wish you all much success on the upcoming event.
Thank you very much. Greatly appreciate it.
Thank you. And if you'd like more information on any of the organizations and services you've seen on the program today, visit our website at hccs.edu/VeteransVoice. An audio version of this show is available on Apple Podcasts. Just search for the HCC TV Podcast Network and then hit the subscribe button. For everyone here at HCC TV, thank you for joining us on Veterans Voice.